The federal level, I want to see Title 4B reauthorized, and I want to see the Stop Institutional Child Abuse Act passed to provide transparency and data collection. At the state level, I have helped to outlaw abusive practices like restraint and seclusion, increased licensing requirements with unannounced site visits, required proper reporting, and increased private communication with families and their child so they can report abuse if it's occurring. All of this helps to reform these facilities, and I will not stop until all youth are safe.
So it was quite a shocker to see none other than Paris Hilton standing up for kids without a voice. So she testified before Congress on behalf of children in the welfare system, discussing her own accomplishments in the space. So the singer, actress, model, whatever you want to call her, she's kind of a jack of all trades, testified about the abuse of children in the system at Capitol Hill Wednesday.
I'm in bed, and these two people come into my room and say, do you want this to happen the easy way or the hard way?
So this is actually news to me, but Paris Hilton just a few years ago actually told her story about being a kid and her parents being unhappy with her wild antics. And in the middle of the night, she was actually taken by two men and transported to a residential treatment center where she ended up living as a teenager. She said she faced physical, sexual, and emotional abuse.
There's no getting out of there. You're sitting on a chair, staring at a wall all day long, getting yelled at or hit. I felt like a lot of the people who work there got off on torturing children.
Wow. Like I said, completely news to me, but she said the treatment center was just a nightmare.
I appreciate the opportunity to be here today to discuss how to improve care for the nearly 400,000 children that are living in the foster care system as we speak. While my experience was not through the foster care system, I know from personal experience the harm that is caused by being placed in youth residential treatment facilities.
And that's what inspired her to tell Congress to reauthorize Title 4B, a federal fund for states' child welfare programs, and to pass the Stop Institutional Child Abuse Act.
When I was 16 years old, I was ripped from my bed in the middle of the night and transported across state lines to the first of 4 youth residential treatment facilities. These programs promised healing, growth, and support, but instead did not allow me to speak, move freely, or even look out a window for 2 years. I was force-fed medications and sexually abused by the staff. Can you only imagine the experience for youth who are placed by the state and don't have people regularly checking in on them?
So in Paris's background story about going to this treatment facility, being ripped from her home, you can only imagine how she feels about her parents. I'd feel betrayed, you know? It would be quite hard to build a relationship back up with my parents after something like that happening. Whether they knew what was going on behind the scenes or not, you're still sending your teenage daughter to a bunch of strangers. So after Paris went to several treatment facilities, and after running away from her first 2 schools, she ended up in Provo Canyon School, where she says the abuse just continued. But following this 2020 documentary I showed you, where she discusses this abuse she suffered, she says she's now been going to therapy with her mother, Kathy, and it's definitely improved their communication, declaring that it's been, quote, really healing for them both. Paris goes on to say, it was definitely hard to talk to my mom about everything that I went through because it felt traumatic and painful to speak about. So we never really talked about it. So during Paris Hilton's reality TV show titled Paris in Love, this was actually when her and her mother had joint therapy sessions and individual therapy sessions.
I think when I got married and wanted to work so hard at my marriage, I think because I felt bad that my parents separated and divorced.
That's sad, and that's fear. Go with that.
So Paris goes on to say during the show was when we started going to therapy together, I knew that she had no idea what was happening. Just like every other patient who sends their children to these type of schools, it was really healing for both of us to finally talk about that and lift the weight off my shoulders before I got married and moved on to the next phase of my life.
This $23 billion a year industry sees this population as dollar signs and operates without meaningful oversight. It costs approximately $800 to $1,000 per day to place a foster youth in a facility, and you deserve every opportunity to be safe and supported. Congress, please join me in creating a world where all children have a right to family, love, education, and the support they need.
So yeah, I know that was a mouthful there, folks. It's a lot to take in. There's a lot of people online who say, like, you know, Paris Hilton is spoiled. She grew up into wealth. And yeah, some of those things are true, but that doesn't take away the fact that she dealt with a lot of crap as a young teenager. So it's great to see Paris actually doing something productive. And some people are going to hate. I see mixed things online. Some people are saying good for her. And some people are saying, oh, well, that's the least you could do. Just because you're wealthy doesn't mean that you don't have a heart. I think think Paris is doing very well for herself now. She's successful, she has 2 kids and a husband, and I'll leave it there, folks. Let me know what you guys think about this story in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and you guys know the drill. Ta-ta for now.